Not consciously, not intentionally, but quietly, day after day. They trade their potential for comfort, their voice for approval, their power for protection. You see, deep down, we all want to feel in control of our lives. We dream of success, impact, freedom. But when the moment comes to rise, to lead, to take ownership, we hesitate. We shrink. We tell ourselves we're not ready, not qualified, not that type of person. But what if the only thing standing between you and your power is the story you've been told about who you have to be? This video is not just about psychology. It's about the silent war within you, the one between your comfort and your calling. Let's expose the truth about powerlessness and why now, more than ever, the world needs you to reclaim your strength. There's a strange contradiction woven into the human spirit. We say we want freedom, success, and control. But when the opportunity to claim real power arrives, most people quietly step back. Why? Because power doesn't feel safe. Responsibility doesn't feel easy. And growth? Growth demands that we let go of comfort. Most people aren't chasing empowerment. They're seeking protection. Not leadership, but security. Not the open road of possibility, but the soft confines of the familiar. This isn't a flaw in human nature. It's a pattern. Ancient, cross-cultural, and deeply ingrained. Let's unravel it. The illusion of comfort in weakness. Strangely, weakness has its rewards. When you see yourself as powerless, you're off the hook. You don't have to make the hard choices. You don't have to risk disappointing anyone. You let the world act, and you simply react. Think about it. How many people complain about their jobs, but never apply for something better? How many stay in relationships that drain them, just to avoid hard conversations? We stay in pain because it's familiar, because responsibility, while liberating, is heavy. Even society often rewards helplessness. We rally around the vulnerable. We admire the underdog. And while compassion is necessary, it can unintentionally create a world where weakness gathers more attention and even more power than strength. In relationships, in work, in politics, those who appear fragile often get more support than those who stand tall. Why? Because playing small feels safe. Evolution's grip. Biologically, we're wired to play it safe. Stepping out of the norm used to be dangerous, maybe even fatal. So our brains learned a shortcut. Minimize risk, conserve energy, don't stand out. It's easier to follow than to lead, easier to blame than to build. Even neurologically, safety brings pleasure. Dopamine flows when we stay comfortable. Risk brings cortisol, stress, fear. Powerlessness doesn't just feel safe. It literally feels better in the short term, but long term, it quietly erodes us. Nietzsche and the morality of weakness. Over a century ago, Friedrich Nietzsche called this out. He spoke of slave morality, a worldview born from powerlessness, where strength is seen as evil and submission as virtue, where ambition becomes arrogance and meekness is rebranded as wisdom. Sound familiar? Even today, we suspect the successful. They must have cheated. We romanticize the struggle. Money doesn't buy happiness. We elevate authenticity over growth, comfort over courage. This isn't humility. It's fear dressed as philosophy. And it's holding us back. Carl Jung and the fear of your own power. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychoanalyst, offered a radical insight. He said we each have a shadow, a part of ourselves we bury. Not just our flaws, but our potential, our ambition, our leadership, our brilliance. We suppress it early. Don't brag. Don't stand out. Who do you think you are? So those qualities, our boldness, our voice, don't disappear. They go underground, but the shadow doesn't stay silent. It leaks out as self-sabotage. We ruin opportunities just before success. We push away love when we feel close. We fall apart right at the edge of transformation, not because we're broken, but because we're terrified of stepping into our full power. The systemic trap of learned helplessness. This fear isn't just personal, it's systemic. In the 1960s, psychologist Martin Seligman described learned helplessness. When people face too many uncontrollable situations, they stop trying, even when the door to freedom is wide open. Sound familiar? Schools teach compliance over creativity. Jobs reward routine over innovation. Politics ask for votes, but not involvement. Media floods us with unsolvable problems. Technology does our thinking for us, even deciding what we see. We're trained to wait for permission, for opportunity, for someone else to save us. But no one's coming. Reclaiming your power. So, how do we break free? It starts with a decision, a quiet, fierce decision. Stop waiting. Stop waiting for approval, for credentials, for someone to crown you worthy. Power isn't given, it's claimed, and you already have the right. Next, examine the comfort of your weakness. What are you avoiding by staying small? Are you using your pain as protection? Your story as an excuse? Courage isn't the absence of vulnerability, it's movement through it. Then, face your shadow. Notice your strongest reactions to powerful people: jealousy, anger, judgment. What are they reflecting back? Maybe they remind you of something you've buried. Practice using your voice, setting boundaries, taking small risks. Not to fake it, but to become it. You don't build confidence. You build evidence, one action at a time. Redefining power. Most avoid power because they confuse it with domination. But real power isn't control over others. It's authorship of your own life. It's not zero-sum. Your strength doesn't diminish others. It lifts them. The goal isn't to be invulnerable. It's to become someone who chooses challenge over passivity, meaning over comfort, growth over stagnation. You weren't built for weakness. That ache inside you? That's your real self rejecting the cage you've accepted. Now you see it. The patterns, the beliefs, the systems, the reasons you've stayed small. And now the door stands open. Will you walk through? Will you choose the safety of limitation or the responsibility of freedom? Because real strength doesn't come easy. It demands consistency, honesty, and the courage to walk a different path. But it offers something weakness never can: the deep, soul-level satisfaction of living in alignment with who you truly are, not who you were taught to be. The choice is yours.